Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are discussing on top 20 frequently asked HTML interview questions. So let's begin our video. Our first question is, what are semantic HTML tags? So let's see the definition first. Semantic HTML tags, they provide the meaning to the content they wrap, which means they are going to convey the meaning to whatever is the content inside them. They are wrapping some content, right? So they are going to convey their meaning. So for example, we have one semantic tag. Inside this we will have paragraphs, we can have span, we can have divs, or we can have headings, we can have our list items. Then they are going to provide some kind of meaning, that is it something related to the main content, or is it something for navigation, or is it a header, or is it a footer. So such meanings are conveyed through semantic HTML tag. So example of semantic HTML tags are like header, we have footer, and then there is nav, article, and section, aside, main, figure, and caption. So there are multiple semantic HTML tags, and they make easier for the search engines to rank your website. So whenever you are searching anything on website for any result you are trying to search, then you would want your website to rank in first 10 or first 5 of the applications, right? First 5 of the websites. So how does that happen? That happens through search engine optimization. So if you are writing your application, you're writing your website using the semantic HTML tags, then there is high possibility that in search engine optimization you will rank better, and browsers will be able to easily understand your website and rank them in the top few of the websites. They also convey their meaning to developers to understand the page structure. So if you have written your code which was written some maybe 5 years 6 years back, then the new developer comes, then there might be difficulty for that developer to understand whether this is related to the header, or is it related to the section, or is it related to the navigation, or is it footer, or is it the main content. So if you're just making use of div everywhere, there will be lot of confusion. So that is why we have to make use of semantic tags, so that developers, the new developers who are reading our code, they understand the page structure better, that whatever code we have written, it is related to the heading, and the next code we have written is related to the footer, and in between that we have our main content. So this is how we have to write our semantic tags. So this is called a semantic tag. So semantic tags, they convey their meaning to the search engines and the developers. So for search engine, it is for better ranking of our website, and for developer it is for better understanding of the page structure. You can give these examples. Now we will go to our second question, that is, what is article tag used for? So article tag, it is used for self-contained content that can stand alone, such as blog post or news article. So let us suppose we have one application, and in this application we can have a separate section about one course. Okay, if our website is about the courses which we are selling, then there can be a self contained content about one individual course, or the post about that course. And then we can have multiple, like there might be one more course, right? So we can have one more article here. So articles are nothing but they are used for self contained content. So one more example you can take is of newspaper. In newspaper we have the news articles, or we have in blogging websites you can see the blog post. So there are multiple posts in newspaper. You see there are multiple news sections also, right? They are self contained. So there is if you see the national news page, there are so many news articles written. So that is the example of article. So article is nothing but they are used for self contained content that can stand alone. It doesn't need anything else to support. They can stand alone, and they convey their meaning to the user very efficiently. We will see our third question now. What is third question? Third question is, what is the difference between section and div? So div is the normal thing which we used to make use of in HTML, whereas section, this is our semantic HTML tag. We will see the difference now. Section, it is a semantic tag that groups the related content, while div, it is a non-semantic tag that is used purely for the layout purpose. So this is the difference, that section, it is semantic and div is non-semantic. And coming to the use, section is used to group the related content, and whereas div, it is used for layout purpose. So if you want to do any kind of CSS, or you want to do any layout changes, then you can make use of div as a container, but you have to make use of section to group the related content. So for example, you have one section here. Inside this section you can have multiple information, like you can have the article tag, you can have 5 6 article tag, and then you can have your aside also in this for any kind of advertisement. So and then you can close your section tag. So this is how your section tag works. It is used to group the related content, and this article and aside, this article will be related to, for example, entertainment section, entertainment kind of genre, and this aside also, this is going to give you ad related to entertainment industry only. So in newspaper also we have different sections, right? We have sports section, we have international news section, national news section, and then we have entertainment section. So there are multiple sections, and section tags, this is used to group the related content. This is how you can differentiate between section and div. Now we will see fourth question. Fourth question is, why should we use the semantic tags in HTML? Why should we use? We have discussed earlier also that first thing is for SEO, that is search engine optimization, to rank your websites better, to rank your websites in top 5 or top 10. And also it enhances the accessibility. What is accessibility? Suppose there is some person who is blind and he wants to use your website, then there are some tool called as screen readers. Example include NVIDIA and Mac voiceover. So what does screen readers do? Screen readers are going to read the content of the website for you. So in case there is a image, how will the screen reader read it? It is not possible for them to read. If there is navigation, if there is navigation and it is having multiple options in the navigation, that where and all we can redirect to, then how will a disabled person know that this is navigation? So that is why we have to make use of semantic tags. So whenever you make use of semantic tag, screen readers or the voiceovers, they can recognize and they can read out that this is a navigation, what is the intent of this section which you are seeing. So that is why we have to make use of semantic tag to enhance the accessibility and also SEO and make the code more understandable, which will be understandable to the new developer, and by defining the purpose of content. So whenever you are writing any code and new developer comes in, then you have to explain, like your code should be self-explanatory and understandable for the new developer, and he should be able to understand that what is the purpose of this content. Was this written for a header purpose? Was it for some footer, or is it something like a side ad section, or is it main content of our website? So it should be more understandable for the developer. Now fifth question, what is an attribute in HTML? So attribute, it is a additional information which is provided inside the tag, and it is helpful in modifying its behavior. So you have normal tags, so there might be multiple tags, right? You have div, you have span, heading, then image and anchor tags. So there are multiple tags. So what are attributes in them? They are useful for providing the additional information in those tags. So in div you can have attributes like the tab index, you can have area label, or you can have class name, you can have ID. So all these things are called as attributes. So we will see example here by the code, by the syntax. So these are our tags: anchor tag opened and anchor tag closed. So these are our tag, and this is an anchor element because we have some content inside it. Okay, so visit W3 school. So this is one of the example of the element, HTML element, and this a individually, anchor is individually a tag. Okay, so this is how our tag and elements are. Now whatever is the information we provide here, right, href, or we can provide some other information in any other tag like div or heading or anything, IDs and the class names, they are also. So whatever you write when, like in the first time when you're opening it, before you close this tag, so whatever is the information you give between them, and you have to make use of equals and the quotes, that is called as attribute. So this is nothing but the attribute. Href is the attribute. It is providing additional information. What information is it providing? That when you click on this text, you are going to get redirected to some other website. So this is our attribute. It is providing you some information. Then we will see here with the image uh, tag. In image tag you can see that in image tag we have source, and this source src, it is, this is the attribute, and you have some additional information that girl with jacket alternate. This alternate is also one of the tag. This is the source, this is the image, and this is the source of your image. So how, like what is the source of image? This is what you will be showing. So this is the content of your image. And then we have alt. And alt is useful for like the accessibility purpose also, that in case our image did not load, our image is not present, then we will show the alternate tag, that girl with a jacket. And similarly we have, you can see that we have src, that is your src is one of the attribute, and alt is also one of the attribute. And apart from this, you can have id also. Id also provides you some additional information. Class is also useful for some additional information, that this is the kind of styling that will get applied to this tag. So this is called as attribute. In this a, you can see href. What is href? It means that your whenever you click on this text, you are going to get redirected to this website. And image is nothing but whatever image you see, what is the content of this image, where is this image loading from? It is loading from this source, that is imagegirl.jpg. Then again we have one more example of the same image tag, where we have the src. Now let's see our sixth question, that is what is the purpose of alt attribute in image? What is the purpose of alt attribute? We have discussed in previous question also, that it provides the alternate text for image, improving the accessibility and the SEO. So if your image doesn't load, this is the source, that from this, what content are you supposed to show in your image? Point of view, from image point of view, what are you supposed to show? You are supposed to show the image which is coming from imgtypo.jpg. So in case this image is not present, or it is not being able to load, then you have to show a alternate text to the user, that girl with jacket. Now it is helpful for accessibility purpose also. Whenever your disabled user is trying to access that image, so screen reader would read out that it is image of girl with a jacket, so that they are aware of what this image is about. And then it is helpful for SEO also, that in case your image is not loading, you are showing alternate tag, and it is easier for the search engines to understand the kind of content your website is showing. So in case image is also not available, they are anyway reading your alternate tag. So image is loaded afterwards, right, from your server. It might take time, but still browsers will be able to read that, okay, this website has some content related to girl with a jacket. So it's helpful from SEO perspective also. Now our seventh question is, how do you create a hyperlink in HTML? How do you create a hyperlink in HTML? You have to make use of anchor tag, that is a. So you have to write less than symbol a, and you have to close it, and then in between whatever you write, that will be shown as it is, and then you have to close your anchor tag. So how will you see your uh, screen? How will this anchor tag be shown in your screen? It will just be shown with a link. Okay, this is how it will be shown. When you click on this link, you will be redirected to this website. Href is basically used to, it is a attribute we discussed in previous question. It is an attribute, and it is having a data that when we click on this hyperlink, where is it going to redirect us to, like which website. So this is how you will see your element in UI screen, and when you click on this, it is going to redirect you to the example.com. Now let's see our eighth question. How do you use the target attribute in anchor tag? So till now we have seen that in previous video we just made use of href attribute. Now we will see that how do we use the target attribute in anchor tag. So target attribute, it specifies where to open the linked document. So for example, this is how you have just normally written that, okay, this is the website you have to open, and by default whatever is the behavior that happens. But we have other options also of how we can open our new website. So for that we have to make use of target attribute. For example, if we just write target is equal to underscore blank, it opens the website in a new tab. So this is your for let us suppose that this is your tab, and here you have link. But if you write underscore blank, then your the new website which you have given the link in href attribute, that will be opened in a new tab. Similarly, we have different example like underscore self. If target is underscore self, it opens in the same frame. And if you have target is equal to underscore top, it is going to open your new website in full window mode. And if you have target underscore frame name, it is going to open it in the named frame. Now we will see the ninth question. What is difference between block level and the inline element? So block level element, they take up the full width, whereas inline element, they take only the space of their content. So their width is equivalent to their content. So let us see example. If you write div or p, these are the example div or p. So what happens if your div is only having detail, the information like s. Okay, this is the only content available in our div. So what will happen if this is our whole screen from here to here, if this is our whole screen, then what happens, your s will be written here. One second, let me just rub it. Yeah, so s is here, but you can see that this whole content, this whole section, this whole screen, horizontally it is blank, right? We could have stored something here, but that is not how block levels elements work. They take up the full width, so no matter how much is left out or what is happening, if their content is done, still they are going to take up the whole width of your screen horizontally. Whereas coming to inline element, what happens in span, if you just write a or b anything, and then you write one more element here, then a is taking only this much space, right? So it is going to, its width will also be of whatever the content is. If you write one more span here, then b will come here, it will be side by side. But whereas coming to block level, if you write s and then you want to write one more s, then this whole section, whole horizontal width will be taken, and the next s you can write below. This is how our block level elements work and inline element works. So block level element, they take up the full width, whereas inline element, they take up as much as width of their content. Let's go to 10th question. What are void elements in HTML? So void elements, they are elements that do not have any closing tags. So for example, you can have the image tag, they don't have any closing tag, or the break tag and the input tag. Yes, you can have, you can also write it this way. They are also called as self-closing tags. So there are two names, one is void elements or the self-closing tags. So void elements or self-closing tag, they do not have their own closing tag. Either you can write just image, or you can close it in the same tag only, in the same syntax you can close it there only, and then all the attributes will be written before this slash. Our 11th question is, what is the purpose of meta tag? So why do we use meta tag? Meta tag, they provide the metadata about the HTML document. What is metadata? It is information of information. So what is your website about? So that information is given via meta tag, such as charset and author description, which helps SEO and page rendering. So what is the charset and what is the author, what is description, what is initial zoom level? So all these things are written in the meta tag, and it is helpful for search engine optimization of your website and also useful for your page rendering. Our 12th question now is, how do you create a ordered list in HTML? So how do you create ordered list? For ordered list, we have syntax of OL. So we have to make use of the tag OL for ordered list, and inside ordered list we will have the LI for each list item. So this is unordered, and for, sorry, I mean like OL, this is ordered list. For unordered we have UL. So for if you want to show the unordered list, you have to make use of the UL. If you want to make use of ordered list, you have to make use of OL tag, and inside that you have the list LI for each item, li tag. So how can you create? This is the example. You have to first write OL, that ordered list will be shown, and inside ordered list you will have multiple list items. So individual list items will be shown inside OL. Now our 13th question is, how do you create a form in HTML? So how do you create form in HTML? You have to make use of the form tag. We have a different form tag only separately for the for creating the form in HTML, and they include, so if any form you're creating, they would anyway have the input, and you would want to take their information and you will give one button to submit. So that is what is written here. You have to make use of form tag, and then you have to include input elements like input for getting the data for their first name, last name, the gender. So this input you have to write. Then you can get the text area for suggestions or other stuffs, remarks, and then we have select for the drop down, and then we have button, and button is useful for submitting the form. For example, see, this is this code example. We have to make use of this form tag, and then in this we have action, that what action are we supposed to do when button, like save button, is clicked. So we have to do the submit, and by what method? By post method. Our 14th question is, what is the purpose of method attribute in form? In previous question we have seen the method attribute, right? Method can be get or post. So what is the use of this method attribute in form? Method attribute, they specify how the form data is sent to the server. So what is the method, by what method are we sending our data to the server? It can be get or post. Let's see 15th question. How do you create a checkbox input in HTML? So how do you create the checkbox? For that, we have our code example. We have to make use of input type checkbox tag for checkboxes. So you have to make use of input tag only, but this type varies every time. So if you write type as checkbox, then you can create the checkbox input in HTML. Example, you can see here you have input normal tag, and then you have written the type as the checkbox, and then you have given a name like name subscribe, and value is yes, that it is checked. Our 16th question here is, how do you associate a label with a form element? So for example, you are having a name label, and below that you will be showing your input, text input field. So this is how, but what you want to do, you want to associate that this text field is related to this name only, because below this there can be many label, there can be many input fields, but you want to associate this text input to the label called name. So how do you do that? You have to make use, here we have written that we have use the for attribute. We have to make use of the for attribute in label tag to associate with an id of the input. So we can see here we have input and type is text, so this is how you will see a text box, and we have given a id as name, that this is having id of name. Then how do we associate label? We have to write label tag, and inside label tag you can give whatever you want to display in UI screen, and you have closed it. But how do we associate? We have to make use of the for attribute, and this for attribute is going to point to the id. What is id? Id is name. So if you give here name, then this is going to point to this input. So in case, one more important use of this association of label is, suppose you click on this name, then your cursor, that is mouse cursor, will directly go and stop in this input text box so that you can write. So this is the use of associating a label. So how do we use it? How do you answer this question? You have to make use of the for attribute, and what will for attribute have? It will have the id of the element of the input text box where you want to associate this label with. So since we wanted to associate with this name input box, so whatever is the id, that is what we have given in our for attribute. Our 17th question is, how do you embed an image in HTML? So if we want to embed any HTML, we want embed any image in HTML, we want to show an image, how do we do it? We have to do it using image tag. We can make use of the image tag with the source and the alt attribute. So see, let us see an example. We have to write the image tag, and in image tag we have source, that what is the source, what is the image which we will be displaying. So this is the image which we are displaying, that is image.jpg, and alternate we have given as description, that in case this image does not load, at least show the description, that at least show the alternate tag that it is a description. 18th question is, how do you embed a video in HTML? So how do you do it? For image we were making use of image tag, for video we make use of the video tag. So video tag, they were introduced in HTML5, image was there previously also. And the video tag, we have to make use of the video tag with src and controls attributes. So you have to make use of your video tag, you will write your video tag, then you will give the src. It is similar to the image. In image you used to give src, that what is the image you want to display. In this video you are just saying that this is the source of my video, that is this is the video I want to display. And this is also one of the attribute control. What is controls? Controls typically includes buttons for playing, pausing, adjusting volume, seeking, and toggling the full screen mode. So if you're seeing this video in YouTube, you might have different options, right? You might be having option to play this video, pause this, increase the volume, or have a caption, or make this video in full screen, or get it back from the full screen. So there are multiple options given to you. So control is useful for that. It typically gives us these all the buttons in our video. Our 19th question is, what is the purpose of audio tag? So as the name suggests, the audio tag, this embeds the sound content on the web page. So we have seen image. Image is useful for showing the image, video is useful for showing the video, and audio is useful for embedding the sound content in our web page with the controls like play, pause, and volume, similar to whatever we saw in the video. There also we had controls attribute. In audio also we have the controls attribute. So you have to write the audio tag first. You have to write opening and closing, and then controls. Controls is useful for play, pause, and volume. And then you have given multiple sources, that what is the source of your sound. So this is the first sound. And then again you can see we have mp3 source, and type you have given that audio ogg and audio mpeg. This is the syntax, that what is this extension of your audio file that you have given here, that it is audio format and it is in ogg, and here it is in mpeg. And in case your browser does not support audio tag, then you have just written that your browser does not support the audio tag. So this is how you can make use of the audio tag, and the purpose of audio tag is obviously to embed the sound content on your web page. Our 20th question is, how do you add a YouTube video to your HTML page? Now you have to add a YouTube video. So we have to see that how we can add a YouTube video in the same HTML page. Maybe it is like in this whole website you want to show a video only in this part, only a small part of your website you want to show a YouTube video. So how can you embed it? You can embed it using the iframe tag. So this is a tag using which you can embed the YouTube video in your own application. Example is, you have to start with opening your iframe tag, and then you have to close it. In this you will have one attribute called source, similar to the video, images, whatever we had. So in this you are going to give the link of the YouTube video whichever you want to show in your website. So this video, whatever you have mentioned, that video will start playing in your application, and the size of your iframe and all you can decide. This is how you can add a YouTube video to your HTML page. Yeah, so now we have discussed on the top 20 frequently asked HTML questions, which are mostly asked in almost all the HTML interviews. If you found this video to be helpful, then do give a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you have any suggestions or feedback, you can let me know in the comment section. And if you have any suggestions on what next topic I can make my video on, then do let me know. Your support motivates me to make more such content. So thanks for supporting. Thanks for watching, everyone.